What up, everybody? This ever happened to you? So you're supposed to be studying some difficult concept, say protein biosynthesis for your biology class. You spend 2 hours reading through the textbook and watch 16 videos on the topic. But when you're taking the test, you realize that you still don't have it down. In this video, we're going to teach you a method of understanding even the most complicated material quickly and easily. It's called the Feynman technique. The point of the Feynman technique is to make it as easy as possible to comprehend difficult concepts. The technique was developed by the physicist Richard Feynman, who used it to help him understand concepts in physics, even insanely hard ones, and explain them to other people as well. Okay, so he must have been a smart dude, but how does this technique actually work? The first thing you'll need to do is break down the topic you're studying into several mini concepts. Let's say you've got a biology assignment to do, but you need to understand the concept of plasmolysis. You might know that it's a process where cells lose water. Reading up on it, you see that it has something to do with how a cell membrane works. So if you want to understand the overall principle of plasmolysis, you first need to understand the mini concept of membranes. A bit later, you read the membrane is semi-permeable. Wait, what? So that means you have one more mini concept to learn. And that would be, what does semi-permeable mean? Okay, now you take one of your mini concepts. Let's go with membranes. You find yourself a source that explains the topic. A video from us maybe. When you're done, put everything aside and try to explain the concept of a membrane to yourself, out loud while running around and waving your arms and stuff if you have to. And now the fun part. Explain the material as if you were explaining it to a child. In other words, no technical terms, just use ordinary language. Also, it's always a good idea to make simple analogies and give examples. I mean, you want any little scramp of fairy princess to be able to understand it. So for example, maybe you could describe a semi-permeable membrane like this. Alright, so a semi-permeable membrane is like a chain link fence. The fence, the membrane, works as a barrier. The openings in the fence are of a certain size. That means some things can go through it and others can't. If you throw a ping pong ball at the fence, it'll go through one of the openings. But if you throw a tennis ball, it'll be too big and get stuck. If only certain things can pass through a membrane, we call it semi-permeable. Okay, so that's pretty much how you do it. What you always need to ask is, would a kid understand this? So here's the next part. While giving your explanation, you notice one of two things. Sweet, I'm awesome at breaking this stuff down. If so, then you've got it. Then again, maybe it's more like, dude, I get the part about the membrane, but for some reason I still can't really explain what semi-permeable means. It's like you're getting automatic feedback about what you need to have a closer look at. Then you can go and look up more background info on the topic, like maybe pulling up our app and checking out our video on it. Review the parts that you don't quite get yet. In other words, identify the gaps in your knowledge and close those gaps one by one. If you can't do all this, you might end up being able to repeat the words from the video more or less, but without actually understanding the concepts or being able to apply them correctly. And then it won't be till you take your test that you realize it. Remember, while you're trying to explain the topic to other people, you need to run it through your own head, exercising your brain. And that's the actual learning process, not just reading the text. You might also notice that your brain's getting a real workout. That's a sure sign that it's working. Okay, so you explain the concept to yourself in very simple terms and with analogies and examples. This will help ensure you really understand the topic and you'll be able to see where you still need help. The ultimate test is to try and see if you can explain the topic to someone who doesn't know anything about it. Like a child, for example. You'll see right away where you still don't quite get it, and you can focus on those spots and close up the gaps in your knowledge. Then you'll know that you really get it, saving yourself a lot of time in the process. If you want to save even more time, then you want to find yourself some really good sources that present the material in a way that's super easy to understand. For some really great videos, check out our app. You can find it at simpleclub.com. Well, have fun!